Good afternoon. So my name is Stéphane Lecomte. I'm the technical director for everything that is linked to Smart Cities initiative at Dassault Systèmes. And I will go through a fast introduction of what we are doing for the smart cities and the smart district. And you will see that what I will talking about, nothing is linked to real. We are doing everything in a digital, virtual world. Okay? So first, who we are. So we are a French company, essentially made of French engineers. Okay? And we are very well known for the aircraft industry, because we are coming from this industry, meaning that our mission is to digitalize almost everything that you consume today, from the shampoo bottle, to the glasses, to the cars, to the bus, to whatever. So every single product that you consume today has been designed by a Dassault Systèmes product. Okay? So our mission is to support our customer when dealing with innovation. Okay? As you see on the screen, the list is pretty huge. So we are present in almost all the industry, and you will see that only one is missing. If we can call it an industry, I will say this is the cities industry, the smart cities industry. Okay? But if you do the sum of all the industry we are serving, you will see that Dassault Systèmes is providing virtual universe for our consumer to deal with sustainable innovation and to harmonize product, nature, and life. Okay? Just for you to have a sense of what we are providing at Dassault Systèmes, here are some few examples. So you have to know that all the aircraft from Boeing and Airbus are designed using our solution. So you have an example here with the first digital aircraft. In the middle, top bottom, it's a new way to deal with design in the architecture and civil industry. This building is very famous in Europe. This name is Fondation Louis Vuitton in Paris. And this building is very special because every single piece that are part of the structure of this building is unique. Is unique in the material that has been used, only glasses. Is unique on the way that only one shape is replicated, and it's unique on the way it has been supplied. Because this building has been done using a digital continuity in the value chain. Okay? Autonomous car, I will not go on detail on that. And just for you also, for the diversification, we are helping the society by helping the scientists to digitalize the DNA, the human being. Okay? The three gentlemen on the middle of the screen were Nobel Prizes for their research on DNA and cancer. Okay? On the top right, this is the city approach. And it's what we are talking together. Okay? Why Dassault Systèmes is interesting in digitalizing the cities and the district? Because the world is changing. As you heard this morning, everything is about data. Everything is about connected. Everything is about smart. And they were right. We are facing with smart products. Tomorrow, our fridge will connect to our bank account and do the courses and prepare the food for us. But you see, you have smart products that are connected, smart cities, and what we consider at Dassault Systèmes is that a city is a system of systems that are interconnected. You saw the example this morning with the, I will say, the car sharing initiative, but also the waste management optimization. In fact, all of those two systems are connected together. Okay? Most important in this screen is not smart cities, smart product, whatever. It's you, the citizen. Because today, we are in the world of the experience economy, and meaning that we are digital. I can ask a question to all of you. I'm sure you have a smartphone. I'm sure. And on your smartphone, you have your life. So the life is becoming digital for all of us. Meaning that we need to have a vision for the future development of the cities. The vision of Dassault Systèmes is quite aligned with what you saw this morning. It's what we call smart, safe, attractive, and resilient cities. Because if we don't change our way of life today, the legacy to our kids will be almost nothing. Temperature rising, elevation of the water floor, whatever. the world is not going in the good direction. So it's why, when we are dealing with urban planning, urban master plan, city architecture, whatever linked to the city planning, we need to have a goal. The goal can be to have a smart cities, a safer city, healthier city, and what is important is to bring value to the citizen in terms of safety, in terms of compliance, in terms of environmental impact, in terms of mobility. And what we want to do is to replicate what we did in other industries. Today, nobody is asking if we will be able one day to make an aircraft fly. It's done. Today, nobody will ask, will my car be a car I can drive? It's done. Today, when we are designing an aircraft, when we are designing a car, we are focusing on value. Value for the consumer. So meaning that we put the consumer at the center of the decision process. And it's quite an innovative, I will say, workflow for this engineering mechanical company to say that tomorrow I will digitalize the passenger experience from your online purchasing for air ticket up to the checking and to boarding to the airplane. Okay? When we are talking about a car, the car for tomorrow is smart, safe, connected, meaning that the car will talk to the city infrastructure, meaning that the car will know to avoid traffic congestion, whatever. But the reason why we are buying those assets is because we want to find something more than the consumer. We want to experience something. And we want to do that for cities. When we do that for cities, you listened to that this morning, it's about sustainable urbanism, it's about quality of life, it's about safety and security, it's about everything that is linked to multimodal transportation. Because a city today, a district today, or a smart building today, is not dealing with mobility only by looking at car or bike or public transportation or walking. It's an overall strategy. How to ensure that I can ease the mobility and the accessibility of my city, district, whatever. And the first of a kind for us is what we did with Singapore. So in Singapore, we provide to the government of Singapore what we call a digital twin of the entire Singapore that will be accessible for all of us, all of people that are residents of Singapore. Sorry, I'm resident of Singapore. Okay? So it's very simple. They want to think digital first. By doing that, they want to offer to the whole government of Singapore a 3D representation of the physical Singapore. The goal is to serve people. First category of people, the government agencies. Okay? They want to ensure that the government can collaborate on accurate data, on data that are trustable, on data that are up to date. They want to ensure that they have access to the digital continuity. Okay? Then they want to connect the business, because as you heard this morning, a city has only one goal, to attract people. To attract people by attracting company, because company will do business, and when you attract people, the people will consume, and they will make the city, the district grow. Okay? And you have also two very important stakeholders, university and research, because the future of the city, you will not find it at the urbanism department of a city, you will not find it at the urban planning department of a district, either it's a social innovation district or a business park, you will find it at the university for the talent of tomorrow. And the goal is to serve only one person, the citizen. How do I ensure that the citizen will like the city where he's living? It's what we call participative collaboration. Okay? To do so, they need to have a digital twin of this environment to serve different needs. So we are partnering with 4 main agencies in Singapore. The first one is what you see on the bottom. It's the National Research Foundation. So this program is a research program. Okay? We are also partnering with the equivalent of the IT department, so the agency that is in charge to put the access to the ICT network, and also the Singapore Land Authority. And with that, we developed what we call a multi-level of detail of the city to serve some usage. Maybe you are familiar with that, but I will start to explain, and after we'll jump to a more, I will say, fun presentation, because after 2 slides, only videos, and you will see what is a virtual city in action. First level of a city is what we call level of detail 0. It's what we mean by the terrain. And the terrain is very important of most of the cities because it's describing the elevation of the land use. So you can start to simulate flash flooding. You can start to simulate a lot of things such as excavation. Okay? So the terrain is very important because with the terrain, you have access to the road network, you have access to the green area, the blue area, and you can start to do your planification from a urban master plan perspective. And after, you have what we call the city in white, level of detail 1, meaning that you have the correct geolocation of the building, X, Y, Z, okay, and the correct elevation. So you know where are the buildings, and you start to have some information regarding the positioning. With that kind of building, you can do some, I will say, wind simulation, noise simulation propagation. Okay? So you have a level of detail that is supporting some usage to be much more innovative when you want to deal with problem solving. After, we jump to what we call level of detail 2, and it's starting to be very interesting because when we are describing a city in level of detail 2, it's meaning we have information on the walls and we have information on the roof. And when you have information on the roof, you can start to simulate the solar potential. Okay? LOD3 can add some other information in terms of semantics because you have some architecture details, such as the windows, such as the doors. So now when you click on a building, on a virtual world, you know the story, you know the lot, and you can know some information such as solar exposure or people that are living in that apartment. And last but not least, we have what we call the LOD4 model. It's what we name a walkable model. And with a walkable model, you can virtually enter inside this 3D representation of the asset, and you can start to simulate a lot of scenarios. And we'll jump on it. On the right side, you have the CityGML, what we call normalization, that describes how to build a virtual asset. Okay? This is the methodology we used at Singapore in order to build this virtual model. So 3 steps. I will say very simple, but in fact very, very advanced steps. The first one is to virtualize the city. So to take any data. You remember this morning, we were talking about data, where are my data, is my data digital? It's very important. So here when we are dealing about data, it's 2D data, 3D data, document, static information, dynamic information, sensing information. You will find the IoT data inside. Then, as soon as you can aggregate those data, you have what you need to visualize it. Visualize it with any device. Okay? And last but not least, you want to do a venture. So venturize is a word that has been invented by the government of Singapore because they were willing to have a marketing campaign on the Smart Nation effort. It was the 3 Vs. Okay, they were willing to have 3 Vs, so they want to do a venture. A venture is when you have a referential of the city in a 3D environment, you can do whatever you want. And you can start to simulate what-if scenario. And you can play with it. An example of what we did on the city of Singapore, so 5.5 million of inhabitants, roughly 700 square kilometers for the main island. You have to know that if you take into account the reclaim strategy in the urban planning, you double the superficie of Singapore. So it's becoming very, very fundamental to have a 3D representation of this environment. Here we go. First demonstration. So when you aggregate a 3D twin of this physical environment, you aggregate all the information. So you have the base map, you have the buildings, you have the trees, you have the bridges, and you have a lot of information. All the information are geolocalized. Okay? Pay attention at the MRT station that is in the middle. At the moment, it's in LOD1. We put it in LOD4, so meaning that now we can go inside. And when you can go inside, you can experience in a virtual environment what will be the experience from a citizen willing to take the MRT. And you can change a lot of things. You can change the way the panel are put in place. You can change the landing, the unlanding. All the information can be simulated. Here is very interesting for your urban planning environment or bureau. You put the master plan. So you aggregate all the information from the legacy system into a 3D environment. To get a sense of this information, you can superpose with information coming from satellite ortho picture. You can put texture on the building. And now it's very interesting because you have a referential of that city that can support scenario. First scenario, analytics, semantics. When you select a building, as I mentioned already, you have the window, you know the solar exposure, you know the address, you know the elevation, you know a lot of information. Okay? You have also access to what we call the standard information. So meaning when you select a building, you have access to the volume of that building. It can be linked to some initiative strategy. Okay? But you have also access to the roof area. Very useful information when you want to deal with solar panel potential. When the information is not in 3D, it's not a problem. Look at the car park. We know how many car lots we have on a dedicated parking. And then we can start to support a smart parking initiative. Okay? When you have this virtual representation of Singapore, you can deal with simulation. First one will simulate, it's a gas leak. But we'll not see the gas leak as a physical simulation, but we'll manage the impact of this gas leak on the surrounding environment in order to plan the evacuation. Okay? This is a BIM model. So for the architect, you know, most of you knows what is it. So this BIM model is very detailed. We put it in place in the virtual city to see the impact on the shadow casting, as an example, on the surrounding environment. And you can start to navigate into your 3D environment with the apartment, and you can also do a virtual visit on the parking. It was mentioned this morning, but when you have a walkable model, then you can do what we call a behavioral simulation. So you put a behavior to people in the virtual world, and you simulate an event. Here, we're simulating a fire event, and we see how people are reacting, the level of stress, the families are trying to link together to escape. Okay? And last but not least, wind simulation. And this is very important in Singapore, because in Singapore, temperature is 30 degrees all year long, and humidity is 90%, sorry. When you start to have this wind simulation in your planning job, you can take benefits of what we call the natural cooling effect. Okay? So roughly, this is the first view of what we do in a virtual world for Singapore. And now, when you have this virtual twin, you can start to play other simulation. The first thing is accessibility. This morning, we were talking about topics. First one was mobility, second one was environment. Mobility, there is a law in Singapore that says that everybody must be at 10 minutes from a public amenities. So here we have a path planning, so I can walk, easy, I can cross. And now I'm a disabled person, so I'm in a wheelchair. The time to reach my community center in the middle is now 20 minutes, and it's more than 1 kilometer. So how to put innovation to design a new district and a new way to move in that district. So in a digital world, let's say I'm an urban planning in charge of the mobility. What I can see is I have access to all my tasks, my virtual environment, and I can be notified that the town council is looking at a new project for a city garden. In the virtual world, I can put the project in my environment, start to navigate inside, and see the impact. So I can remove the trees, everything is an object, and I can see that my pedestrian overhead bridge here, I may have an issue because I'm in charge of the mobility, and I need to put a ramp on all the PUB in order to ease the accessibility. And when I'm doing that, it's not commissioned yet, in the virtual world, I can see the impact of my ramp into the surrounding environment. And I can start to launch what we call collaboration, virtual collaboration, to enable people to share information and to lend to a better solution, taking into account the regulatory compliancy. Okay? I'm compliant because I can do things. So I'm collaborating. I have access to all the projects. It's what we call life cycle management. We have access also to all the rules. So when I want to take benefits of many initiatives, here I'm connecting to Virtual Singapore, and you will see the solution that has been deployed in respect with the regulatory compliances that is put in place in Singapore. And the solution is very simple, 2 new paths in the garden and 2 new openings on the ramp. Okay? This is the result of a collaborative work. And after, the benefit is that you can use the virtual environment that was used for the planification, for the citizen communication and the citizen mediation. Because you have the virtual park with the virtual amenities and the virtual environment. Very important when you want to plan is you need to have what we call isochrone, linked to mobility again. So let's imagine here in green, what we did, we digitalized the law. In green, you have what you can access in 5 minutes by walking, and in blue, by cycling. You see, it's not a circle. It's what we call an isochrone. And it enables us to start to link, to deal with planification. So here, we have what we call in Singapore a car-like initiative, and you can have access to what we call a safety index for the path to move from my house to a community center again. And you see that when you take into account the different phases of the plan for mobility, you see the impact on the result. Okay? Another initiative based on that isochrone, so if you look at the bottom left, when you do planification, generally speaking, we say, okay, what I can reach in a given amount of time is represented by a circle. But when you do so, you don't take into account the bus stop, the underground tunnel station, underground path, whatever. So you don't have access to the real accessibility of your district. You see that if I do my planning using circle, I'm in a perfect world, but in the real world, with the isochrone, I have a hole. Okay? So I'm using this environment to compute what needs to be done, and after I can virtually commission new city furniture, bus stop, but also no sacking pass. Okay? Linked to smart campus, so we'll move to the environment side, it's no more mobility. What can we do in the virtual world with green energy? We digitalize the solar panel. So for a district, I will say town council, they can have access to the solar production and also from the electricity consumption from the common parts. So the lift and the stairs and the light for the park. And you can learn from experience and you can see, okay, now what if I want to replicate this solar panel initiative in another district of Singapore? And because we know the position of the building regarding the sun, we can assess a solar potential and we can help the decision process to say whether or not it is cost effective to deploy solar panel in that area. Okay? Here, we digitalize the rules again. When you cannot put a solar panel by law, you can put a green wall. And now we can have access to a rules-based master planning saying that where are the buildings that are candidates for a green roof. And in a matter of click, you can see all the green candidates where I can put and deploy this kind of initiative. It's very helpful for a master planning in order to deal with that kind of environment. Here, it's what we call a pneumatic waste collecting system. So to ensure that all the public housing of Singapore are connecting with pipe in order to collect the waste to a central repository. It will, in the future, it will optimize the use of the fleet in order to take care of the waste. Okay. When you have this virtual model at the district level, when you want to link with security, safety and security, you can simulate the field of a CCTV network, and you can help to optimize the position of a camera based on the elevation, and you can also simulate, as you saw previously, the season, and you have access to the shadow. Okay? So everything in a virtual environment. Last but not least, simulation. So here we are working in partnership with Singapore University and Research Institute, and you have the result of a simulation, traffic simulation in a district, and you can go at the pedestrian level to have fields on the congestion. on the safety. Can I cross the road at that moment? Do I have enough time to cross? Because in Singapore, all the traffic lights are connected. So when one is red, there is an impact on the network. And you can simulate these kind of things. Okay. Back to simulation. I don't know if you have it in Thailand, in Bangkok, but in France, we have it also. We are managing all the transactions on the property price. And here, what we are doing, we are aggregating all the information on the price transaction for a dedicated building, and we can compare the price based on the different story, and you can detect some pattern. And you can, after, play other simulation to enhance the way you want to deal with the district plan in order to attract newcomers. And you need to find the cause why there is a drop in the price. So you can aggregate multiple simulations. So here you see that you can have the simulation for the price and all the transactions. But now we jump to what we call a noise simulation based on sensing data, because we have sensor data on the smart light, smart lamppost in that city. So we are able to aggregate all the information on noise. And then when you put the price evolution, the noise simulation plus the traffic, you can detect things to be done at the master plan level. Back to the walkable model. This is a shopping mall in Singapore, and here we are simulate the way people can come to an event. So it's a positive communication, positive event. So we are simulating, based on the speed of the escalator, the way people will move from different stories to reach the event that is at the basement level. So you see the result and the impact of the speed of the escalator in order to reach that event. And it will help the planner for this the event to optimize what to be done. And now, the goal is to simulate the end of the event and to see what is the impact of a guide, what we call a SER file. And to see that most of the people will come to the nearest escalator, but when they are guided, they will ease the evacuation. Okay? Other example, so now we are no more in Asia, we moved to a city in France. Okay, and again, it was mentioned this morning, it's what we call dashboarding capability. Here, I'm talking about what we call a city cockpit. So a city cockpit is a way for a dedicated urban planner, architect, transportation engineer, whatever, to be connected to a single referential to have access to a lot of information. Okay? So here, what you will see is that I have access to a new train station project. So, okay, so I have the new train station project, I have the master plan, I have the different simulations that has been launched on that area. The master plan is digital, the simulation can be run, and it's a collaborative platform. So meaning here, I can retrieve the work that has been done by an architect and import it. So here you see the 3D building, okay? And I can see the impact of that building in my existing planification, okay? So here, you enter in a virtual collaboration in order to put this building in place in my virtual city. So this is the city of Rennes in Brittany, France. You see the MRT station. You will see that I can start to have access to the block, so existing city as of today, and then I can put in place all the project that has been commissioned by the city in the virtual environment and see the impact of my building into the overall planification goal. What is done just now, so it's used by the city of Rennes, is that they are preparing what we call an illustration so that you can capture some viewpoint and you can start to give an animation in order to communicate to the citizen. So what will be the next evolution of the district? So you see, as is, the to-be has been as planned using the mixed use, a building that has been approved and that will be soon commissioned, and you can start to navigate in that environment virtually. Okay. My takeaway, very simple. So when you want to deal with innovation in a city, in a district, in a building environment, our view is that you need to describe the city as a system of systems. So it's coming from our military background, I will say, when you are dealing with aircraft, engineering, and things like that. So we are dealing with what we call mission-critical software. And the first thing is to have goals, vision. And those visions are defined by KPIs, by parameters. And those parameters are serving what we call initiatives. So you will retrieve on that chart all the initiatives that generally are linked to what we call the word SMART. When you have goals and initiative, you need to have a digital representation, either of the asset, the building, the district or campus, or the city. And when you put those three elements, the goal, the initiative, and the digital representation, you can think digital first, and you will need a platform to collaborate among a single referential for the city, the district, the building, in order to do simulation, big data analytics, IoT, whatever, to start to have an up-to-date version of the city. I will share most of the slides with the organization, and you will have some documents in order for you to go deeper in the detail of what has been presented. Thanks for your time and letting me the opportunity to present what you can do in a virtual world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen Lecomte. เอาละค่ะช่วงนี้นะคะเหมือนเดิมเช่นเคยกลับมาพบกันอีกแล้วนะคะสำหรับช่วงขั้นโฆษณานะคะช่วงนี้ยังแจก